A very warm welcome to the latest Pyramid Guy video. Today's topic is once again a mystery that's circled the globe, yet no one has been able to make any sense of it. But it's quite possible that this is about to change. But before we dive into this curiosity, please subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any updates, and check out the premium membership options by clicking the join button below the video. And if you have any comments, you can leave them in the comments section or send them to my email. You can also place your orders for the Paraspyri booklets and my books here, and if you like my Facebook page, you can get first-hand information about lectures and events. So, let's jump into today's topic. The Voynich Manuscript has fascinated scientists, cryptographers, physicists, and computer scientists for 600 years, basically everyone who has ever heard of this mystical book. Now, a German researcher claims that he has finally deciphered one of the world's most mysterious books. The manuscript is a 240-page medieval codex written in a completely indecipherable language, full of bizarre drawings of strange plants, astrological symbols, and many naked women. Well, that's certainly boosted the codex's popularity index. However, cryptologists, FBI agents, mathematicians, medieval scholars, and trained linguists have all tried to unlock its secrets, but so far, no one has succeeded. Imagine holding a book in your hands whose crumbling pages date back to the 15th century. The manuscript is full of strange illustrations, spacious bathtubs, or even ovary-shaped baths and green liquids, all appearing among the whimsical images. This sounds pretty bizarre, but you only need to search for it on Google to find some amazing drawings. Researchers have divided the book into different sections: astrological, pharmaceutical, biological, and theological. Everyone is trying to understand what it's actually about, but so far the only thing they've managed to figure out is that naked women are at its center. So many have concluded that it might have been written about the biology of the female body for medieval women, and in a coded language, because they didn't really talk about sexuality or how the body works, so only initiates could know its secrets. But this is still just a possible suggestion, because behind the bathroom illustrations and the biology of the female body, and the baths reminiscent of the female reproductive system, lies the sexual symbolism of the codex, which is the most prominent part of the entire manuscript. Then, some say, the astrological section is the most translatable, as constellations like Pisces, Taurus, and Sagittarius seem somewhat familiar, though not quite as we'd expect. Finally, the pharmacological section follows, which is full of strange spices and medicinal plants that could have been part of secret ceremonies. The manuscript likely holds the key to knowledge that has been kept secret for millennia. But what should we think of the current discovery? The German researcher might finally provide a new perspective on solving the mystery of the Voynich Manuscript, as the magic of discovery has never been so close. The Voynich Manuscript, as I mentioned, has kept its secrets for over 600 years, and despite all attempts, no one has been able to decipher it yet. The manuscript contains 25 different letters, and even Elizabeth Friedman, the famous cryptologist, admitted that in 1960, no one could figure out how these letters were connected to each other. Those who tried to decipher it soon ran into frustration, and that hasn't changed since. As more and more theories emerged regarding the Voynich manuscript, the guesses became wilder and wilder. Some believe that the book was written in a secret code by philosophers who created the symbols only for themselves. But there is one theory that is perhaps the most exciting of all: the aliens. Because if you type the combination Voynich manuscript plus aliens into Google, a whole new world opens up before you. You can spend hours surfing, and you will find such interesting images. This is where the theory came from that the book uses a language that cannot be found anywhere else on Earth, therefore, most likely from outside the Earth. The characters originate. The star charts found in the Voynich manuscript, which depict constellations that even today's scientists do not know, only further strengthen the alien theory. Perhaps a non-terrestrial being created the book, who crashed somewhere on the planet in the 14th century and recorded his last years on Earth in this mysterious codex. Is it possible that the alien left us the last traces of his life in the manuscript, as if it were a cosmic coloring book? And so many things have been heard about the manuscript that this theory won my favor the most, even if it has nothing to do with reality. But after more than 100 years of unsuccessful translation attempts, in June 2021, a man, Rainer Hardick, a German Egyptologist, claimed to have deciphered the code of the Voynich Manuscript. According to Hardick, the manuscript is in Hebrew. According to his claim, the text was written in a Semitic language, and among the languages spoken in medieval Europe, such as Arabic, Aramaic, or Hebrew, the latter probably dominates. Hardick noted that he managed to find a connection between the characters of the Voynich manuscript and the Hebrew language. Some words and sentences have already been translated, but according to Hardick, it'll take years before the entire text is deciphered. But what exactly has he found so far? Well, mostly gibberish, because according to old Hebrew experts, Hardick's translation is full of holes, and in many places he takes liberties the interpretation of the language to give meaning to an expression or sentence where there actually isn't any. In the last few decades, at least 60 different Voynich solutions have come to light, but all of them have been debunked. For example, in 2019, David Cheshire, a researcher at the University of Bristol, claimed that the manuscript was written in a language that was lost over time. The language that Cheshire thought he discovered could have been the predecessor of modern English and Spanish. His discovery was soon refuted. Nicholas Gibbs fared similarly in 2017, who burst into the international news as a television writer when he claimed to have solved the mystery. According to Gibbs, the manuscript is a women's health manual, and the language actually consists of Latin abbreviations. Although the women's health manual theory may gain some merit, the idea of Latin abbreviations was less convincing to Latin language experts. The Voynich manuscript, therefore, remains a mystery, and every new solution, it only raises more questions. Researchers are digging deeper and deeper into the book's secrets, but so far, all their attempts have failed. The alien theory or the medieval secret code will remain until someone finally unlocks the book's secrets, if that's even possible. In the meantime, the Voynich manuscript remains one of the most interesting, most mysterious books ever made. Yet, theories keep emerging that seem to offer a solution, only to collapse quickly. The Hebrew theory was one of these flashes. In 2016, for example, computer scientists announced that they had managed to translate a few sentences of the manuscript from Hebrew. Their method? Dead simple. They put every recognized letter into Google Translate. This is also, let's say, knowledge not really based on scientific foundations, although if something works, even if it's nonsense, then it's a solution. In this case, it wasn't, because the result itself was one. He made recommendations to the priests of the house, and I and the people seemed justified. Well, Hebrew language experts didn't need more. They very quickly pointed out that the translation was far from reality. Although the language of the Voynich manuscript remains unknown, its history is somewhat better mapped out. Researchers at the University of Arizona performed radiocarbon dating on the manuscript and dated it to the 15th century. The book likely was made between 1404 and 1438, and based on its stylistic features, it seems to originate from northern Italy. The pigments and paints used for the illustrations also confirm this assumption. The first appearance of the manuscript dates back to the late 16th century, when Rudolf II, the Holy Roman Emperor, purchased the book. The imperial physician's signature is still visible today on the first page of the text. Following this, the book fell into the hands of Georgius Bartius, a Prague alchemist, who compared the manuscript to the riddle of the Sphinx. When Bartius died, the book found its way to Rome, where an Egyptian hieroglyph expert tried to decode it, unfortunately without success. The manuscript then disappeared from the stage of history for nearly 250 years, until in 1912, Wilfred Voynich, a Polish book dealer, purchased it. Voynich then devoted his life to deciphering the manuscript. And for a time, the book bore his name. Since then, the suspicion has arisen several times that Voynich himself wrote the manuscript in the hope of selling the medieval mystery for good money. But the dating made it clear that the manuscript indeed dates from the 15th century, so this theory was also debunked. The Voynich manuscript was eventually donated to the Yale University Beinecke Rare Book and Manuscript Library, where it can still be found today. According to further theories, The book could have been the work of a medieval fraudster, Edward Kelly. Kelly was famous for claiming he could speak with angels. He claimed he fell into a trance and wrote down what the angels told him for others. The angels supposedly spoke to him in their own language, and this language was recorded in a special secret codex. While this theory is exciting, scientists haven't been able to prove the Voynich manuscript was actually written in an angelic language. It's also possible the manuscript is some mystical alchemical work, full of symbols and secret meanings only the initiated can understand. Or maybe it's just a well-planned hoax that's intrigued the world for centuries. Whichever theory is true, one thing's for sure: the Voynich manuscript remains a mystery. Tell me in the comments what you think about the mysteries surrounding the Voynich manuscript. What do you think the truth is among the many theories about the text? Or what's your insight, or even your logic? I'm looking forward to your comments, and if you have any questions or requests, let me know. Meanwhile, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss anything new, become a channel member if you can for the perks, and follow my Facebook page for upcoming events. As usual, I'll be back in a few days. Until then, take care of yourselves, kisses to you all, and rock and roll!